So today we are looking at Location by Khalid. This lesson will be based on my acoustic instrumental of the song, which is up on my channel now, so go check that out first so you've got a reference of what I'm going to be teaching you today. It's going to be a super easy lesson today because it's the same 4 chords that are played throughout the whole song, but just with a slight difference to the picking pattern in each section. But if you do get lost or stuck throughout the tutorial, expand the description box below for a written explanation of each step. So let's do it. So for this track there's only 4 chords that we need to know, and these are going to be the same 4 chords that are played throughout the whole song, so it's going to be super easy. The only thing that sort of changes in this song is the picking pattern. So the first chord that we need to know is A major 7, which is 5th fret E string, 6th fret D string, 6th fret G string, and 5th fret B string. The second chord is A flat 7, which is 4th fret E string, 4th fret D string, 5th fret G string, and 4th fret B string. The third chord is C sharp minor 7, which is 9th fret E string, 9th fret D string, 9th fret G string, and 9th fret B string. And the fourth and final chord is B6, which is 7th fret E string, 6th fret D string, 8th fret G string, and 7th fret B string. And they are all the chords that you need to know. So for this song there's 3 sections that we're going to cover. The first section is verse 1, the second section is chorus, and the third section is verse 2. So all the sections are going to use exactly the same chords, but there's just going to be a slight variation in the picking pattern between the 2 verses and the chorus. So starting with verse 1, I'll just play through the whole progression nice and slow. So we're going to be starting on the A major 7, and we're going to be using our thumb, our first, our second and our third fingers to pluck the chords. So we're going to start by plucking the E, D, G and B strings all together twice. And for the timing on this, we're going to pluck the first one on the 1, and then we're going to pluck the second one on the 4. So if I just count through it, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one is going to be held, and the second one is going to be quickly pluck, and it's going to kind of act as a passing chord to the next chord. So if I just count through it again for the timing, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. So then after this we're going to move to the A flat 7, and we're going to do exactly the same, so plucking the E, D, G and B strings all together twice, once on the 1 and second time on the 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So for those 2 together it's and then after this we're going to move up to the C sharp minor 7 and do exactly the same. So plucking the E, D, G and B strings all together twice. Again on the 1 and the 4. Then finally we're going to move down to the B6, and we're going to do exactly the same. So plucking the E, D, G and B all together, once on the 1 and second on the 4. So for each of the chords in this progression, it's going to be exactly the same picking pattern. We're just going to be plucking the E, D, G and B strings all together twice. The first one will be on beat 1, and the second one will be on beat 4. So that's the whole progression for verse 1. So if I just play through the whole progression nice and slow so you can follow along. So if I just play through that again. And they are the chords and picking pattern that I use for the first verse. So next we have the chorus, and this is going to use exactly the same chords and chord progression as the verse, but just with a slight difference to the picking pattern. So I'll just play through the whole progression nice and slow. So for this we're going to be starting on the A major 7, and we're going to start by plucking the E, D, G and B strings all together, then following this with a slap. Then we're going to do the same thing again, so plucking the E, D, G and B strings all together, then following it with a slap. So for the rhythm it will be and again. And like the verse 1, we're going to be using the same picking pattern for each of the chords of the chorus. So next we're going to move to the A flat 7, and we're going to use exactly the same picking pattern. So E, D, G, B, slap, E, D, G, B, slap. So those two together. Then after this we're going to move up to the C sharp minor 7, and we're going to pluck the E, D, G and B all together, followed by a slap, E, D, G, B all together, followed by a slap, so just as we've done before. So that'll be so what we have so far. And then finally we're going to move down to the B6 and do exactly the same as we've done for the other chords. So E, D, G, B, slap, E, D, G, B, then a slap. And that will be the whole progression for the chorus. So if I just play through the whole progression again nice and slow, and you can just follow along and see what I'm doing. So here we go. And again. And that is the chord progression and picking pattern that I use for the chorus. And finally we have verse 2, and I'll just play through the whole of the progression nice and slow. So again, like verse 1 and the chorus, it's going to be exactly the same chord progression, but just with a slightly different picking pattern. So we're going to be plucking the E, D, G and B strings all together 4 times on each chord. So starting on the A major 7, we're going to pluck the E, D, G and B strings all together 4 times. Then moving down to the A flat 7 and plucking the E, D, G and B strings all together 4 times. Then moving up to the C sharp minor 7 and plucking the E, D, G and B strings all together 4 times. Then finally moving down to the B6 and plucking the E, D, G and B strings all together 4 times. So it's nice and easy for this. So if I just play through the whole of the progression nice and slow so you can follow along. And if I just play through it again. And that is the chord progression and picking pattern that I use for verse 2. And that's all you need to know for this track, so I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Remember to hit the subscribe button below to keep up to date with all my latest guitar tutorials and acoustic instrumentals. I'll see you all on the next one.